What is good, people? Welcome back to another video on 8 Count. In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to my first ever gameplay on Undisputed. I was lucky enough to get my hands on the game on Friday when the beta opened. I was able to get in a couple of games. And today I'm going to be reacting to my first ever game and giving you my thoughts and feelings around the game, a little bit of criticism and some of the positives which I've found. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Leave a comment just letting me know your thoughts around the game so far, and let's get into it, guys. Yeah, so actually what ended up happening is my video footage was absolutely disgusting. But my first ever fight was against Stuudy, as you can see here. Jack Charles, that's me. I was fighting Stuudy. He was using Sophia Leash. And it was a really good game. For my first game, I was actually thankful I came up against someone so good because I was actually able to learn a lot from him. You know, a lot of things I was doing wrong, which I guess is just from fight night and that sort of feeling of always holding down the block button and stuff like that. But yeah, I was able to get a lot of it, good, I guess, experience in this match, and thankfully enough, Stuudy's video is up here, so be sure to go check out his video where he is reacting to the fight as he's doing it live, and it's a really good video. He talks through his kind of thoughts and feelings around the game, some of his criticisms as well, and be sure to go and subscribe to his channel as well. Brilliant content creator, does a lot of stuff around Esbc, or Undisputed as it's now called. If you want all the latest news, he's got it over there. But yeah, guys, I'm going to start off with some of the criticism because, to be honest, it was a bit of a shit show the first day. But it's as expected, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are being real negative online, and, you know, I understand. Like, I would have been pissed if I couldn't get into a game. I was lucky enough that it ended up working, but it is the first time this game's actually ever gone online to, I guess you could say, thousands of people at a time. And you could tell because it really didn't handle it very well. In terms of waiting for a game, you get the searching sort of logo, and that would be up for quite a while until you could actually get into a game. And if you did find a game, it'd come up with a screen and you'd know you'd be getting in. But yeah, it was a bit nasty. You know, I was waiting over an hour and a half for my first match. But we got in, and then after that, I think around 10, they uploaded their second update of the night. A bit of a quick fix, and that one actually worked a little bit better. And it didn't get any easier for me in terms of opponents, because after facing Stuudy, I had to go up against the creator of Steel City Interactive in Esbc, and he whooped my ass for as long as the fight lasted, which was 2 rounds. I think I was using Mickey Ward and trying to chase him around, and he was just jabbing him in the face. So that was great. But yeah, guys, other than that, the servers had a few issues in terms of the high ping, I'd say. You know, in terms of my internet, it was good enough on every other game, but this one I was struggling a bit on, I think. I'm not sure if it's my internet or just the game in general. You guys have to let me know. But this high ping, you know, it was slightly delayed at times, and it just didn't get that fluidness. But you could feel it, but you could feel that it's got more to come if this server issue can kind of been sorted out. I had a couple of issues with the frames as well at times, like in the main menu. I did a lot of things. I ended up capping it to 60 to see if that would help. And at times, it, you know, did help, but other times it would still go to shit, which I really just didn't understand, because with the PC setup that I have, it should be able to run this game fairly comfortably. So yeah, we had a couple issues with the frames. I don't know what I'm going to change, because towards the end of the beta on Friday, I was actually getting games and it was running really smoothly. So hopefully that's going to stay the same for Saturday. I'll try and record some footage if that is the case. The punches I have a problem with. I know a lot of the punches have kind of been hated on at times throughout the sort of videos and, I guess you could say, trailers they've released. And I think rightfully so, but I don't think it's hate. I think it's just criticism. You know, there is problems with some of the punches in terms of they don't look like they're landing hard at all. And you're not getting that sort of feedback in the game either of, oh, I just landed a really clean shot which hurt them. You know, what I'd say is you're getting a lot of feedback on the sort of like pretty shots almost. Like if they're going for a combination, you might slip one and land a really nice jab. You're going to get that flash and it feels really rewarding. However, you're not getting that on like a big right hook. You know, you're not getting that feedback. And I believe there's an issue with the health, which is making this the case, in my opinion anyway. I feel like the stopping power in some of these punches, you know, it's a bit annoying. No, the speed of some of the punches are really good, but then other times you could be in the exact same area and the punch just doesn't come out right. I'm not sure if that's an issue with the actual punches or if that's how it's meant to be. But the stopping power, you're not getting that feeling at all. I'm not sure if this is down to animations or just the health, like I said. In terms of the health, you feel like you're bulletproof in this game, in my opinion. That's one criticism I would say. I feel like the health is way too buffed. It'd be like in a Call of Duty game, you got 100 health, and then all of a sudden they said, no, you've got 1,000 now. You'd be running into lobbies, you get shot, you just run around the corner, you'd be fine, right? And that's how I felt in this game. It was my first game on, so I was a bit wary. So you can see I've been keeping my hands up a lot, even when I'm out of range, because I'm so used to eSports UFC where the distances can be, kind of cut so short in such quick time. Sorry, and yeah, I was kind of wary of that in this game, but it really wasn't an issue. But like I said, yeah, the bulletproofness as I went on throughout the day, and I got a couple more matchups. I guess you could say maybe it's the chin of Ettore Gatti and Mickey Ward, but I felt like I was eating some clean shots at the time because I was really struggling to nail down distance is one of the things I would say. I really couldn't find a way to, get in range and then get out of range real quickly and master that. But I'm sure it's there because I've seen, I think Coach's Corner did a video and he looked really good, man. You could tell he's played the game before and you could tell he is what he is, man. He's a beast on the game from what I saw. But yeah, guys, the stamina was also an issue with this health because not only were you not able to really hurt people, they were staying fresh throughout the fight. Obviously, it's an 8-round fight, so it's not going to be the same as a 12-round fight. But, when you're throwing a lot of punches like me and Study were in this fight, I felt like we weren't necessarily spamming, but we were, throwing a decent amount of punches in terms of the 8-round fight. I felt like our stamina should have been affected a lot more. I think I had the lowest stamina in this game. I do believe that it's probably down to Study working my body a bit more. And me throwing and whiffing a lot. But it only went down to like 89%, which I feel like it should have been way more. So I was kind of disappointed in that. I think they're in a hard spot with the stamina because I think you don't want to encourage spamming, but you want people to go out there and throw a lot of shots and make it an entertaining fight. So it's a kind of rock. What is it? A rock in a hard place, whatever. And yeah, it's a difficult one to master. I'm really interested to see what they do because overall, I'm really happy with this adrenaline system. You have that sort of long-term stamina and quick-term stamina. And if you go through your quick-term stamina and you want to keep going, you can. But I feel like you are better off in this game when you're landing shots. Like, if you start missing one in between, you're kind of done in the combination, I feel if you land all the shots or, on the gloves at least, it feels really rewarding and nice. Like I said, the stamina, in my opinion, was a problem because I do wonder if as the stamina goes down, you're less, I guess, protected in the game and, strikes are going to be more impactful on you. I wonder if that will be the case. Some of the positives of the game, guys, obviously, I know a lot of people have a different sort of point of view because they couldn't get into games and that. Obviously, I was lucky and fortunate enough that I was able to get at least a few in. I would say that the speed of the game really lends itself to tactical fights. And, I think it's important in this game. Like I said, the difference between landing, at least on the gloves, or whiffing completely. I think it is important because I feel like when you get that miss, you can just feel out of stride and out of sync with the game, which is good because I feel like that's the way it probably should be if you're missing and hitting thin air. And in terms of the speed of the game, like I said, I wouldn't mind some of these punches being sped up, but not like every punch. I feel like the max pace they've got now is kind of good, but some of the punches are really slow compared to, maybe one of my straights is really quick, but then another time it'd be really slow. So if they could get everything to be the same, I would like that because I think the pace of the game is really good. Like I said, I think it lends itself to more tactical fighting. Yes, you're going to have moments like that when you're on the inside and my ego gets the better of me. And I think sometimes it went the same with Study. Like, we get in the clinch and I was really, well, not in the clinch, but in that sort of close range sort of battlegrounds. And we're standing our ground and we're trying to throw shots and land, but it's kind of hard in this game. And I was always noticing the stamina. It's like a couple times it really happened to me. I think it only happened to him once or twice, but it happened a few times with me where my ego would get the better of me and I'm like, no, I want to land the last punch. And, I'm swinging. I'm thinking, God, what am I doing next? Hook or uppercut? And, you go into that red and all of a sudden you feel that vulnerability, I guess you could say. But the game speed, it allows you to have these sort of high-paced sort of battles, but it rewards you for managing the distance and managing the pace of the fight. If you have the fight at your sort of game, and let's say you're an outside fighter, I thought Ash Habib, as I said, the creator of the the game. And what I noticed from him was it was just solid to get him in. I was trying to cut off the ring. He was kind of dancing around with a Toragati, jabbing me in the face, giving me a 1-2. And, he made it really difficult for me. I just hope that it's going to be the same. If you're really good at coming forward, you can be that pressure fighter like a Canelo, put people against the ropes and, counter shot and stuff like that. I just feel like I hope the balancing's right, because I do feel like overall, so far, I feel like it's pretty balanced and it's rewarding players for fighting their playstyle if they play smart. If you play reckless, I feel like, well, I hope anyway, that it's going to become more possible to knock, people who are just spamming hooks in, constantly. But we'll have to wait and see. But so far, I really like the game speed. I feel like it's rewarding players fighting tactically. And I hope that's going to be the case when the full game comes out. The other thing I want to talk about is movement. I really liked it. In this fight, I think around this time in the fight, actually, I start trying to mess around with the loose footwork. So it's up on the D-pad on the controller. And what I found with that is you are able to cover ground, especially laterally, I feel like, side to side, extremely quick. It makes it hard for your opponent to kind of keep you cornered. So I really enjoyed using it. I'd like to see it vary depending on the fighter. Let's say I'm doing it with Ali. It should be real nice, real smooth. But then I put it on with Butterbean. Like, I don't want to see Butterbean floating like a floating like a butterfly, singing like a bee. That is not his game, because that would be kind of funny. But I just hope it's not the case. I hope there is that sort of, if you get someone with super good footwork like a Shakur Stevenson, you're going to be able to really make the difference when you're in just normal footwork even. But yeah, I feel like the movement so far and the angles which you're able to create, like, you can get off the center line in this game, and it's really rewarding because a lot of the time your opponent will shoot on straight and you can really catch them with nice shots, and I'm really enjoying that fact about the game so far. Another thing I want to talk about is some of the body shots and the hit reactions. Sometimes you're not getting them, you're just getting a normal body shot and it lands and, it feels nice. Nothing special, I'd say. But sometimes, let's say your opponent's like throwing a combination and they've just got done throwing a combination and they're starting to breathe in. You land that body shot, you can see the emotion on their face. I was Mickey Ward and I landed a left hook to the body on Notoragati after he threw a few punches. And you could just see the air being sucked out of him. It was actually like so gritty and brutal. And I really enjoyed it. It gave me flashbacks to the trilogies which went down. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the body shots. Another thing I'm a big fan of is the visuals, guys. I love the venue we're in. Obviously, it's a kind of like, I guess you could say, a much smaller venue, not too many fans. But it's got this sort of like grittiness to it, which makes it really intense, in my opinion. You can see it's kind of like foggy in the room, and I really liked it. I know they're going to have so many different options. I like the lighting in the stadium. It's a bit darker. And, I just really enjoyed it. In terms of the fighter models, really impressed, guys. You saw quite a lot of, I guess you could say sweat and, where they're dry sweat and, it looks really nice when it's rendered and stuff like that. Overall, I think the game's looking beautiful. Another thing I was really impressed with, guys, was the menus. I felt the menus were smooth. Obviously, we weren't able to really go across the menu, so we'll have to wait and see about that. I did have a couple problems with the frame rate on the menus one time, so that was a bit of an issue. But other than that, when the game was playing well and the game was not like having any lag, it was real smooth. And the menus look super slick, so I'm really happy with that because obviously with a game you just want the menus to really just be functional, but it's a bonus when they look really sort of like eye-catching. So I'm happy with the menus. Like, launch the menus like that and I'll be happy. The other thing I want to talk about before we end this video is traits, because I didn't really feel the outcome of the traits too much. I guess you could say maybe when I was using a Toragati and he got cut, that's probably one of them, because I think one of his traits is battle hardened or something like that. I know that's a Call of Duty one, so I'll go with that. It's something like warrior, but he basically has an ability that he is, I think it's somewhere like 25% more likely to have a cut cause. Or was it 10% more likely to be cut? And he's already got a low stat in terms of like, swelling and like his cut ability, I guess you could say. But if he does get cut, there's like 25% chance the referee gives him more time in the ring. You know, he's not going to stop the fight early for a cut. So I really like stuff like this. Obviously, they've talked about it in the past with, you know, what sort of traits the fighters are going to have. You know, I don't know if they'll ever add any more fighters to the beta. If they do, I will do a video on this. If not, I probably won't. But I'm checking out the fighter traits. The two ladies don't actually have any traits. I'm not too sure if that's just because they don't have any or if they haven't got round to giving them out yet. But Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti both have sort of traits. And the thing I love about the trait system in this game is not everything's positive, you know. It's not going to give you that double YY speed. You know, you're going to have to take the positives with the negatives. I guess you could say it's a bit of both. And I like that because obviously I come from games. I'm a big fan of sports games in general. Like, you know, football games where the traits are, you know, oh, he can do this now. He's got this bonus. But in this game, it's like, yeah, you get maybe a bonus in this area, but you are going to be hindered here. And I like that. I like this sort of uniqueness to each of the fighters. And, you know, for me, EA Sports UFC, in terms of what it's done, I think it's come a long way and it's a decent game. But for me, it feels quite stale. I feel like every fighter, unless I'm using someone unique like a Dominic Cruz or a Wonderboy Thompson, you know, everyone kind of feels similar. I don't feel like the trait system is overly... I think it's important in the game, but it's not groundbreaking to the point where every fighter feels different. I hope that's going to be the case in this game because I think that's important, having different fighters that you want to use. Because for me, I love playing a bit of competitive and trying to get as high as a rank as I can. You know, I'm not too bothered if I didn't get to the highest point because I'm not the most gifted gamer in the world. I'd say I'm probably just above average in most games, and I'm okay with that. But I like learning. As I just see Terry Harper doing alley shuffle as I'm getting my ass whipped. But I love learning how to use different characters. Like, I'm not much of a fan of like Overwatch and stuff. But I like the idea of having multiple characters. Oh, I'm actually really good with Canelo Alvarez. Oh, well, I'm really good with Caleb Plant. And then, you know, maybe you feel like you've got to the highest level you can with Canelo Alvarez, but I want to use someone else now. I'm going to go and use Billy Joe Saunders or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I kind of like that idea. And that's another thing I just want to state in this video is, in terms of EA Sports UFC, they've got a couple problems in my book, and I hope this game doesn't have them. In terms of your rank mode and just fights in general, I hope we aren't going to be restricted to a weight class per hour like we are in EA Sports UFC. Because for me, that actually killed that game, because I want to use the fighter I want to use. It doesn't matter if it's a rank mode, I still should be able to do that. And I feel like that kind of does kill the game. But the other thing I would say is the fact that, like, coming out of a game, it takes so long. In this case, I felt like there wasn't actually any skippables after the fight. There was a couple of cutscenes, but it didn't take too long, so I was kind of happy with that. Because in EA Sports UFC, you're better off. If you lose a fight, you're better off quitting out the game in terms of saving time than you are actually watching the cutscenes or going and quitting out normally. As you can see here, guys, I actually got the win against Stuudy. I don't know how, because that's another one of the negatives I wanted to talk about. I've been waiting for this moment. The judges are blind. Like, I've watched this fight now a couple times. I'm fairly confident I lost handedly. Really handedly, actually. I would say at most, I'd probably give myself one round or two. So we've got an issue with the judges in terms of how the decision is actually scored, and we got the problem with the decision and how it's actually given out. So I didn't win this fight. Like, even if a draw is like really pushing it like in my favor, I felt like I lost this one pretty handedly, and I should be handed the L for that. But the judges kind of give you a lot of rounds. I actually ended up winning this fight, but it's kind of bullshit, because what actually happened was, I think it was Stuudy two of the judges scored the fight a draw, and one of the fight judges scored it for me. So that should be a majority draw, right? But they give me a split decision win, which is kind of crazy. But in terms of the judges, man, I like the fact, never leave it in the hands of the judges, especially in a video game, right? You want to see people going for finishes. But in this case, like, if you want this to be, in the end, I guess you could say an esports worthy title, which was always the aim with this game, the judges have to be a bit better. I know you want to have these different tendencies in the judges, and I like that. I like the fact that maybe a judge is going to favour, if someone's coming forward and pushing the action a little bit more. But in this fight, like, I would say, in terms of like who's coming forward or who's on the back foot, I think we both had our moments. I think Stuudy was probably more on the front foot than me. I feel like he landed a lot more punches than me. The CompuBox numbers seem to be off because I'm pretty sure he landed a lot more headshots than me. I just felt like I lost this fight, and I feel like if this is going to be the case in the game, finishes have to be a lot more easier. But I don't want finishes to be a lot easier. I want them to be, slightly less buffed, I guess. I want them to be slightly nerfed, so it's a bit easier because I've only seen one throughout the entire launch of this game so far. But if the judging's like that, it's hard, man, because the finishes aren't there and the judges are bad. Like, for me, I'm not going to hide the fact that I lost this fight. I lost it pretty handedly. So I was kind of disappointed with that. The last criticism I've got is the commentators. Todd Grisham and Johnny Nelson love to talk over each other at this moment in point. And commentary is the last thing. Like, no one really cares about commentary right now. When the game's launched, we've got career mode and we want the commentary on. That's when we'll care. But right now, I'm not too bothered. There's easy things to fix, in my opinion. Like Johnny Nelson talking over the top of Todd Grisham and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, overall, I think my experience was really positive. Like, obviously, we had the problems with getting into game and a lot of people saying it's unacceptable and this and that, but you got to give these guys a lot of slack. I feel like in terms of developers, they've been really good in terms of their openness. They share a lot about the game. They give us a lot of feedback. They ask for stuff, and they've had a slip up here in terms of the servers. But look at other company owners. Look at EA and stuff like that. It's nowhere near this level of openness. It's very closed, open and shut door. It's just a shut door, sorry. So I'll give them a pass, man. Obviously they were going to have problems, and if you stick around, you're going to be able to reap the benefits, because I think that this game's going to be brilliant in the end, and I hope it is, because from what I've played, it's got that addictive feeling. It's really fun. Hopefully you guys, if you haven't got in, you can do over the rest of the weekend. This is the end of this video. I'd like to thank Stuudy for letting me use this gameplay. His links are in the bio or description. Be sure to go give him a like and subscribe to his channel. His video on this is brilliant. Be sure to go check that out. Thank you for watching, guys. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll be back sometime this weekend with my picks for UFC 281. Super interesting card. We got a lot of storylines going into that one. And I'll probably be back on Monday with a little bit more footage from Esbc, which hopefully I've captured myself this time. And I can give you my overall thoughts of the beta. Obviously, I was able to get quite a lot of points from the opening day, and hopefully we'll have a lot more on Monday. So thank you guys for watching. See you soon.